You could start now.
What does a podcaster do when he's dead?
Make money.
That was a weird answer. I'm not gonna finish that riddle. Welcome to the cast of
in the
Amity
way.
Island.
I'm a Nirvana fan, so I went and saw the Batman, and there's severely a lack of Nirvana.
Well, I don't know why. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Matthew, how's it going? It's time to discuss today. We'll be talking about probably the most relevant film right now, and that would be Matt Reeves' The Batman. Film I was very excited for. It's probably my second most anticipated film of the year, second or third. I was very, very excited. And we finally got to see it in all of its glory. Matthew, I know that you were somewhat excited as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I was excited.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, it was like right behind Moonfall for me, which I didn't see. But
cool. That's the end of the podcast. Thanks for listening, guys. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, leave a like.
Somebody reviewed Moonfall and they called it like the subpar Interstellar.
What?
They're like, this is a poor man's Interstellar. And I was like, I think a poor man could watch Interstellar, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that's really dumb. I don't get that. I guess before we jump into the main discussion, we could probably talk a little bit about I don't know if you saw, but the DC pushed back like all of their releases.
I'd say the bigger thing is the Kenobi trailer.
I didn't even see that. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, the Obi-Wan Kenobi dropped their trailer.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's cool.
Also, the release dates all changed. I don't know why, but
yeah, I guess DC randomly pushed everything back.
Which makes that ad that they had from this movie about all the movies coming out this year kind of dumb, but
yeah, Black Adam got pushed from July to October.
Apparently it's having like extensive reshoots or something.
Yeah, I guess so. And then
Shazam's like is it Christmas now or something.
Yeah, Aquaman 2 got pushed back. The Flash got pushed to next summer. So
Shazam 2 got pushed up though because I think that was coming out next year.
Right.
Yeah. And then DC Super Pets. I haven't seen.
What was that?
Or Keanu Reeves' Batman.
Yay.
Where he's making the funny joke that if you kill his dog, he's gonna kill you. Because that's just the jokes about Keanu Reeves till the day he dies now.
Okay. Keanu Reeves is a cool guy. But
he's a very good guy. Yeah. Actor though, he's fine.
I mean, he's an okay actor sometimes.
No, he's cinematic perfection, and he hasn't done a bad film.
Well.
Oh wait, he wasn't every single Matrix movie. I forgot.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's Keanu.
Whoa.
He was also in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Let's not forget.
Doesn't everybody like those movies?
I mean, I know Excellent Adventure is pretty like well known. It was like maybe like I don't know if it's like a cult classic or just considered a classic, but I know it's decently popular.
Same.
Speaking of actors, Robert Pattinson is now Batman.
Did you like Robert Pattinson as Batman?
I gotta say, I actually really did.
Is he your favorite Batman now?
Favorite? I don't know. I'd have to watch it again or a couple more times to really think about that. This is just like one movie. Like Christian Bale is my favorite before. He has a whole trilogy. But I gotta say, for what people expected, and like going into this film, like I know like the Robert Pattinson casting, it was like 3 years ago when he was cast, and I I saw like a lot of the responses that people had, and they were all like, "Oh well, the movie's already trash. So about just throw it all away. So stupid. Like, why would they do that? They got Twilight Boy and all that stuff." And it's like, man, they really hated on him just because he was in Twilight. And yeah, like that is a horrible atrocity, but like, like we could give him a chance. And I actually think he did a great job as Batman. I thought his Bruce Wayne was a little iffy. I thought it was fine. It was passable for the film and like the scenes that he was supposed to be Bruce Wayne. It was a different approach to the character as well, which is something that I have to consider. But I did actually enjoy his Batman. I thought he brought the look, he brought the demeanor. I think he did a good job overall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's my favorite, but we'll have to see how that goes these first few movies, because he's been very solid in this one. He's very different from anything we've seen before, and that's good, because I don't want to see the same thing again. So a lot of people are complaining about how there's not really a difference between his Bruce Wayne persona and his Batman persona, which I feel like was kind of the point of the character. Like, I feel like it was intentional, and it was executed fairly well. It's just, that was kind of the point of the plot. He just wasn't Bruce Wayne anymore, and so by the end of the movie, he realized, what it meant to like be much more of a beacon of hope, and to be more like Bruce than just this, like as he calls himself throughout the movie, Vengeance. Because I think he gets called Vengeance more than he does Batman in this whole movie. So
yeah, that was kind of like a big thing.
I don't know exactly where he got the nickname Vengeance, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a bit of a contrast, like Bruce Wayne in the past. Like we see a lot of those adaptions of Bruce Wayne. He's like a really extravagant billionaire. He's really cocky. It's like a big part of like what he is. This version of Bruce Wayne is a lot more grounded. Not necessarily. He's not as extravagant. You don't see him flaunting anything crazy at really any point. Like when he shows up in public, people are like surprised. They're like, "Oh my gosh, it's Bruce Wayne."
Yeah, I like the brooding. I like his reclusiveness. It was kind of different. When you cast Robert Pattinson, you're kind of expecting that.
Right.
And like I said, it seemed like it was the intention of the script and the directing and stuff. So I think it was executed well. I think it was just different. So it's just like kind of an adjustment, because Christian Bale was a lot different. Every single Batman's been different. So,
right, yeah.
And to be honest, Ben Affleck was kind of similar to Christian Bale. It's like Bruce Wayne in a lot of ways. So we haven't really had a different interpretation of the characters since like the early 2000s. So it's different, but it's a good difference.
Yeah.
So
I mean, just looking at a lot of like the Batman films, like the Tim Burton ones were like, they were kind of weird. They had, the Tim Burton style, and then we went to the Joel Schumacher ones, and they kind of had like the old like Batman comic style. Like they were really campy. Like it was just kind of like wacky, like comic book stuff, like into a movie, and like it didn't really work very well. And then you went to the Christopher Nolan ones, and they were supposed to be a lot more. They were more grounded, more realistic. And like just more like true like Batman fighting actual crime against these still like cartoonish like types of characters, but it was definitely more real. And this interpretation is an extremely gritty version of that, and I really love it. I love Gotham in this movie. It's really dark, and the entire time it's really portrayed as a city that's in ruin and is not on a good path. And I think that's exactly what I was wanting it to be. Really, it's something that makes a lot of sense for Batman to be a part of. And then it just makes a lot of sense for the character, and I really like how it's portrayed in this film.
Yeah, this movie is almost even more gritty and serious than the Dark Knight trilogy, which I didn't really expect. But there's like absolutely no superpowered people in this movie. Did you like the Riddler?
Yes, I really did. Paul Dano gave an incredible performance, I thought. I thought he kind of stole the show in some scenes, and he really gave a chilling
Yeah, a
performance.
lot
It
of people
really
have
got
been
me.
comparing the interrogation scenes with the Riddler and the Joker from The Dark Knight, which this scene in this movie wasn't better than that. I don't know why people are saying it is, but that was like a really good scene.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go that far, but I do.
Yeah,
I can understand a comparison because it was really well executed, really well done.
yeah,
Um, I think the Riddler as a character being portrayed here, I think it was a good. It makes a lot of sense, like in the world that they set up. Everything about it feels real. That was one of my favorite things. It all feels real, and it all feels like possible, and like in a world where there would be this vigilante like Batman, and then there'd be a villain like the Riddler that would that would be able to amass a bit of a following from random people throughout Gotham because of how broken the city really is, and like he puts on like a really cheap mask because he doesn't really have that much money, but he's still making all these things happen and being so creepy and cryptic and actually having riddles like the Riddler should and leaving everything for Batman and having a full plan that leads to the end. It was all really awesome. It's exactly what I want from a Riddler interpretation. I actually really enjoyed it.
yeah. I mean, his costume made sense. It wasn't like super comic accurate or anything, which I don't know if they would do that anyway in these movies because I'm assuming Riddler's going to be a recurring character. So especially with how they lead it with the Joker at the end, which was
Yeah,
probably
I guess spoilers, but
you got spoilers. What?
I guess like spoiler warning.
I guess we've kind of been spoiling a little bit, but yeah, Joker's in this movie for like one scene, which that was probably the only scene where it kind of felt a little forced for me personally.
Yeah, I didn't really like that. I was just
I
it
guess there
felt
was a
really
few
good.
more scenes of Joker that were cut out, and I guess those are going to be on the
Yeah,
home release, which will be interesting because it's the guy from Eternals playing Joker, so
right.
which is kind of weird because he would be like a mainstay in like a Batman universe, and then a newer hero in the Marvel universe at the same time. So that's kind of interesting. But Riddler was pretty good. I thought he was kind of thrown to the back burner in the final act. I get that like it was more about the Riddler was like more like a group than it was like one person at the end, but I don't know, I just feel like there was like he was just not there at all. So it just kind of felt like there was no resolution with that character. But I still enjoyed all of his riddles. They were pretty thorough, and that one scene with the guy with the bomb on his like neck and him on the phone was actually very it was very entertaining, but it was also very he was kind of scary at times, especially that introduction scene he had when like he showed up behind the mayor. My whole theater like gasped at that. They were kind of his first like scene was pretty brutal. There's some almost borderline R-rated scenes. Like he has a whole saw trap with the rats, and like the thumb drive, which was a pretty good joke, but it was still like really fucked up. And
Yeah, that was perfect for like what the Riddler would do. This film really pushes the limits of that PG-13 like as far as it can go.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like an R-rated cut. And this whole final plan with the dams, even though it kind of came out of nowhere in like an already 2.5 hour runtime, it still made sense. I don't remember if Gotham was like that in the other movies, where it was like basically just like held up by these like little fucking dams, and if those went down, they just flooded the entire city. But his whole motivation made sense, and his whole like hatred for Bruce made a lot of sense. And that scene where you thought that he knew who Batman was, but then it turned out he didn't, was a very good build up and payoff. And I'm very interested to see what he does next. I don't know how active he'd be in the next few movies. It seems like they want to like do every single villain that Batman's ever had in the next movie, from what I hear, what I've been hearing. But
Yeah, it does sound like that. See, the funny thing is because like in this one, which I want to talk more about the Penguin a little bit later. We'll get to that, but Penguin was a character that was in this. Obviously, Catwoman's already established, and then the Riddler was the villain, and then he has that interaction with the Joker in Arkham. So you can see it set up there, and then obviously Penguin, who is gonna be there for any sequels as well. And then if it wants to introduce more, because like none of those villains were killed off. It was all kind of left ambiguous, which is kind of cool, but like it does kind of like it might be a little concerning as like how they're gonna balance that and like if like going forward. Not exactly like sure what like the full plan is, of course, because this movie did just come out. Like who knows what like trilogy or even more like what the plan is gonna be.
Well, they already announced I guess today they like confirmed a Penguin like TV shows happening on HBO Max.
Yeah, they confirmed that it's been officially greenlit for the Penguin spin-off series.
I don't know what that's going to be about, and
I guess it's going to be more like an origin story for this version of the Penguin.
And I guess there's going to be an Arkham TV show as well, which I don't know if it's like a horror show apparently.
And I mean, this movie was kind of like borderline like comic book horror. Like some of those scenes kind of felt like Saw. Like you mentioned that scene with the bomb around the guy's neck
and the rat
Riddler
scene with like the guy in the like rat contraption thing, which they deliberately didn't show. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. I don't know, like, what the overall expanded universe here is going to be. That seems to be what happens with a lot of things now.
A lot of people thought Bane had to set up at the end when Batman took, like, that, like, enhancer at the end or whatever the fuck that was. People are saying that's, like, a link to Bane's serum or whatever.
Yeah, that's what first popped into my head. I thought, like, Bane, so, like... That could be a Bane setup. That did seem kind of random, like later on, and like how he just kind of like injected that and then like got up, and I was like, that's weird. This wasn't established like earlier on at all. But
what the thing he took or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few instances of that. I mean, also like the Catwoman, Batman romance thing, which I don't know. I guess they've never had like a really great representation of that in the movies, but I'm actually very happy that they introduced this type of character in the first movie instead of like, the third movie.
Right.
Because I feel like it could have a lot more weight by the end of the third movie, or however movies they do. Honestly, with how much they want to do with these movies, I wouldn't mind if this was like more than just a trilogy. I wouldn't mind like a Batman trilogy, and then like we get like a Bat Family kind of trilogy where he gets like Robin and stuff.
Yeah, that could be cool. Like an actual, like fully extensive, like a Batman saga. Like
yeah, I don't know why they're restricting them so much to trilogy just because Christopher Nolan did that. Especially if they want to have Joker, it just feels like Joker should get like his own movie. And if they want to explore a lot more villains, that means they're just going to get one more movie where they can do that, and then they have to do Joker again. So I don't know. But the Catwoman Batman stuff worked for me for the most part. Sometimes I randomly kissed, and like it didn't really work for me any of the times because it just felt like random, and it also seemed like Batman didn't have any attraction towards her throughout the whole movie. But who knows? They like part ways at the end, which I think we all know is not going to like last. So they really tried to make you believe that. But obviously they're going to be in the next movie. But I like this Catwoman. I wasn't a big fan of her like little like cap that she had. Like the ends just kind of pointed out a little bit to make it look like a cat. I was like, okay, you didn't really have to do that, but whatever.
Well, yeah, because it was just a ski mask. It was another thing that just kind of reflected. I was actually like looking into this and like how like the contrast between the different like costumes that the characters can wear, because obviously Batman can have whatever kind of costume he wants, it's Bruce Wayne, but like Selena Kyle
I get why it's like that. It was just kind of like
very much.
It's just kind of like
and obviously just has a ski mask on.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I would like in the future films, like I would like a more comic accurate like Riddler outfit, or like a more comic accurate Catwoman outfit. I don't know if that would work, But
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about it. It just seems weird with how like realistic like this version is, because like it's so gritty and it's so like it'd be weird to see like the Riddler in like the
bright
green
green.
like suit, yeah, with like all the
I mean,
question marks
it'd
and
be
all that
cool if they
stuff.
get it
Like,
to work, and I guess it makes sense in the story that he would like not hide his face anymore since it's already been uncovered. But
right, and he can wear like one of those domino masks instead of like a full like face mask. That's what always the Riddler's always been known for.
I'm just
But
really
I want to.
hoping. I don't know why exactly, but I really want Mr. Freeze as the main villain of the next one. I don't know why, but
Yeah, it'd be cool to see Mr. Freeze. I don't know how they would how it would be incorporated, but I'm really interested to see how they would do it because like I just think that'd be really interesting.
and they've
And
been talking about
obviously,
the
I
Court
want
of Owls as well, which had never been explored, but it's a pretty interesting, like newer Batman villain organization.
right, yeah,
And
and I want to see Penguin like actually get a top hat and some umbrellas because that's like the whole character. Should be cool. Like he didn't have an umbrella like once. I didn't think. Well, a couple times during like some of the scenes, he was holding an umbrella.
those
Like that.
prosthetics and like makeup were actually like insane.
I know. I had no idea it was Colin Farrell until like a week before I looked at the cast list and I saw it was Colin Farrell. I had no idea. Like he's literally unrecognizable. It looks really good, and I also think he gave a great performance. So I think that was really impressive all around.
It was really good. Also, John Turturro, which I thought was gonna be like ass, he was actually really good.
Yeah, I agree with you.
This is like the guy from Transformers. Like, I don't remember him doing anything else in these recent years, but he was actually really good.
Yeah,
I
he did a great
I
job
didn't
as
expect him to be
Falcone.
like actually like pretty much the real villain at the end.
Right. Yeah. Which I mean, I guess kind of makes sense. That's always like the Falcone character has like really been underutilized in a lot of Batman films. It was nice to see like how he was really used as more of like a not like comic book villain, but like the kind of the true antagonist like of at least Batman's story. It was really interesting.
Yeah. Also, I really like the Batsuit. That worked a lot more for me in the movie. I'm not the biggest fan of the cowl. I don't know why, but I like the suit, and the Batmobile was really cool. And
Yeah, the Batmobile was awesome.
that was a really good scene in IMAX.
I bet it was. That was one of the best chase scenes I've seen in a while. That
Shook
was actually like really
that
well
scene where he like
executed.
revved it up. It shook the whole theater.
That's amazing.
It was really.
Yeah, I liked
I
how it was like a
recommend seeing it IMAX if you can. I know you saw it at like a shitty little theater, but
nice. That's
no, I'm just meaning like I don't know how your experience was watching it, but IMAX was pretty good.
yeah. Is there even an IMAX theater around here?
I think the closest one is like in Urbandale.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
gay. Um,
There
no,
used to
but
be
it
one
was an
downtown,
amazing
but
experience either way. I liked how it was like a hyper realistic Batmobile. Like it was just an awesome car that was given a bit of it was amped up a little bit. I thought that was really cool. Um, that was just a really like engaging action sequence. It was really well done.
yeah, it was. I thought it might
Um,
have went on a little too long, but like I overall really enjoyed it.
yeah, it was very very solid.
I thought this movie was paced really well, and I don't think there was anything that could have been cut really. But I do think you feel the length a little bit by the end of it.
Yeah, you do start to feel the length. I mean, I remember telling you like it was perfectly paced. I don't think it was quite perfectly paced. It had a couple pacing issues, but nothing too severe. It really didn't feel like 3 hours to me.
And
It
this
just
movie
felt
I
like a
think was like
really
4 hours initially.
yeah. It felt like a good like
Yeah.
just like brisk like enjoyable ride. I know a lot of people have been calling it like boring and slow,
And
but like
also,
if you appreciate film, it works. It definitely works.
I really like that it's more of a detective movie, and it was really engaging, and it was very
Yeah, it
gritty.
really shows off Batman's detective side, which is like really really nice to see.
A lot of people would compare this movie to No Way Home, which I don't think is fair because those two movies are just so different. But
In like
this,
every way, yeah.
yeah, this was such a good like I guess palate cleanser. I much prefer slow burn type of movies that have a much more like methodical, paced out plot. So I appreciate this one. The Nolan movies had that, I guess, but it was a bit more focused on the larger picture stuff because there wasn't much detective work in those movies besides like one or two times in The Dark Knight.
Right.
And those even weren't because like what was in The Detective? He was like trying to figure out what type of bullet hit a cement wall for like 20 minutes. And I was like,
Yeah.
why don't you just look for fingerprints on the gun? I don't
Right. Yeah.
I don't remember if he had the gun, but I feel like that would have been much easier. But I really like Gordon in this movie. I really love the Gordon Batman dynamic. This might be my favorite dynamic of the two, because I don't know, they clicked really well.
Yeah, it was really well handled. I think a lot of the scenes involving like the police starting to kind of turn on Gordon because of his loyalty to Batman, but like he stayed persistent. It really felt like the Jim Gordon character. I really liked that.
Yeah, I was
And I
kind
liked
of
the I,
unsure.
I liked the
I was kind of unsure about the actor, not because it was like race swapped or anything, but just I didn't know how he'd do as a Gordon. But he was actually really good.
They actually did a good job, and I liked how much they actually used him because he's usually a really important Batman character. And like Gary Oldman did a good job in The Dark Knight and like the Nolan films, at least the first two. And then
He was very
uh,
underutilized in the finale for some reason.
yeah, I don't know why, but and he was really well utilized in this. It was nice to see that.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see
I
that because he wasn't even a
yeah.
commissioner yet in this movie.
Yeah, no, he was just Lieutenant Gordon. And then even with that, like a lot of like the like primary important characters were like they were all utilized pretty well, and I think they had like really good impact. I think that was one of my favorite things about the film is it felt well balanced between everything they were introducing.
Yeah, I do like. I surprisingly, I liked Alfred by Andy Serkis. He wasn't in it nearly enough. I guess
Yeah, there was like three scenes with Alfred,
I'm
two of
assuming
which
a
were
lot of
very
those were cut
similar.
probably, or it was like intentionally like that. But the one scene with him in the hospital was actually it was one of the probably best acted scenes in the movie. I really liked that scene actually.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was just weird because like we didn't get much setup with Alfred in this movie. And then when like that thing happened when it was for Bruce Wayne or whatever, but Alfred is the one who ended up getting hurt, and then he went to the hospital, and it was like,
Yeah,
see, this is like it's like a big moment, and it's supposed to be emotional, but like it doesn't really feel like that was like set up well in this movie. Like it was set up fine, and you feel it, but it seems like it's more banking on the fact that we already know the Bruce to Alfred dynamic instead of it actually being set up in the confines of the film. Like it's just like we already know the history of it. Like it wasn't really shown how important Alfred really is to Bruce. It wasn't really set up, which isn't like too much of a negative. It was just something I noticed that was like, well, I mean, I guess like I know why this should be important, but this movie didn't really show me why this should be important. If that makes sense.
yeah, and I'm guessing there was probably a bit of their relationship that was cut out. I don't know who that woman was. Was she the butler to the butler? I was confused.
Yeah, I don't
And
know because like when she answered the phone and she was like, I'm like he's already unheard or whatever. I
it
was like,
wasn't Alfred's wife.
who is that?
And huh?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as who that character was.
Yeah, and then she just wasn't in the rest of the movie. I'm guessing you just had multiple butlers, but like I don't know. Does she know he's Batman? Like what?
Yeah.
Because like if you live there, it's gonna be fucking obvious. You don't see much of the Batcave either. It has like maybe one or two scenes, which is fine. Uh,
Yeah, not too much.
That
It's
was a
like
pretty
whatever.
nice Batcave. I like all of his gear and his tech. I like the little tech with his eyes that he puts in his eyes. That was very Batman. Um, they were like contact lenses or something. And I even like the
Yeah,
little
I thought that was cool.
details.
That was a good example of like Batman tech. I really like that.
Yeah, and I like nice little details where how like it's so realistic. Like it even shows that like he's been Batman so long that like when he's in the sunlight, like it hurts his eyes to, like be around, and he has to wear like these little glasses. Um,
Right. Yeah, that was cool.
and I like the journals he has and the narrations and the brooding. I don't know. Uh, I really enjoyed the portrayal here. It's kind of been hard not to. This movie just pops in my head sometimes randomly. It hasn't really left my brain entirely yet. I originally gave this a 4, but after like a day or two thinking about it, I upped it to 4.5. Just from thinking about it.
Yeah,
And
I was sitting on it as an 8 out of 10. After a little bit, I thought maybe more of a 9 out of 10. After thinking about it a little more, I'm thinking probably closer to an 8. Actually, I don't know. I'm between those two scores. I haven't really decided yet.
yeah,
There's a
there's so
lot to
many.
it. It's a massive movie. It really is.
Yeah, I probably need to watch it again and just sit with that a little bit. And of course, when there's a bit more to the story and we get like more movies, this will probably come into like a bit more finalized opinion. But this isn't like a movie like Halloween Kills where I feel like literally like my enjoyment of this movie depends on the next movie. Like I can just watch this movie and really enjoy it.
Absolutely not. I actually really enjoyed it. It's become one of my favorites. I'd say it's probably my second favorite Batman film after The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I don't love this as
There
much
was
as The Dark Knight. I guess as a Batman story, I probably like this more. But like as a Batman movie, it's probably The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I do really enjoy the story. Um, and like, yeah, with Catwoman, I think Zoe Kravitz gave a good performance, and I could really I could really feel the pain behind some of the things that she was trying to convey. Overall, so I think she was solid. She wasn't exceptional all the time, but I did like the dynamic that she and Batman had. It felt a lot like how I expected it to be, like really back and forth. Like Batman doesn't actually know how to handle it. He's always like trying to deal with like whether or not he's attracted or what he actually feels, and like if he wants to even form any sort of connection that isn't just to help him with certain things. It's I thought that was well handled and I enjoyed it.
The only like fucking discourse I've seen about her character online is just people just overly sexualizing her, and it's just a little fucking weird. But
Yeah, it's kind of disturbing. She also gave a good performance. I feel like people should probably talk about that more. I don't know why. It's like,
no, I'm just kidding. Also, she did audition for Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rises, which is kind of funny. But
that is funny. She played Catwoman in the Lego Batman movie, and then she reprised
oh,
her
she
role in
did.
this film. Yeah, she was the voice in that film, and then this is technically reprising her role as the character in the Batman. That's what it says on Wikipedia.
Oh,
She reprised her role.
that's kind of funny. I don't think I would count that as a reprisal though.
I mean, it's technically the same character.
Different timeline. I kind of
Yeah,
forgot
but same
Catwoman was
character.
even in that. I mean, I know she was because like every single Batman like thing was in that. But
Literally everything was in it. Yeah, but
yeah. Uh, what else?
well, I mean, we could talk about Penguin for a little bit because we talked about last week how Penguin's one of my favorite Batman characters, probably my top two favorite villains.
He was fun in
How
this.
do
He
you
was
feel
just
about
very
him?
like base level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, it was like I really liked Farrell's performance, and I thought he was really nice. But like, it seemed like a huge introduction, and there's going to be a lot more from that character to come. I liked how he went by Oz. That was a cool little detail from some storylines because his name's Oswald. And, like I thought that was kind of cool. And like you said, the makeup on him was great, and a lot of the scenes with him were enjoyable and really entertaining. Like when they were talking about the La Rata or whatever that was, and like he was like, "That's the worst Spanish I've ever heard."
Yeah, he had a lot of good comedic moments, and like when like he makes fun of Gordon and Batman for not knowing like fucking Spanish, uh, and then they leave him, and like they like it's a funny little detail because they zip tie his feet and his like arms together, so he's literally like hopping like a penguin.
Yeah, like he had to like do like a waddle and stuff like that. That was a cool little detail. I really liked that. Um, like I said earlier, I wish he had more of his like umbrellas and stuff like that, and like this hop hat and like a lot of like more like the stuff that makes him look iconic. But like I understand this is kind of just like a setup to the character, and like there's definitely gonna be more to come. Like this film really portrayed, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what all the Penguin does in the comics. I don't know how much of like a villain he really becomes, like mainstay and like front lines. He always seemed like kind of a background villain because he's just like a regular guy. But
I don't know about that one, man. I
is he
don't know.
like superpowered or is he just like a big boy?
I mean, like he is just kind of a regular guy, and he's pretty much always just like a crime boss. He's known as the gentleman of crime. But what I kind of hope that they do, there's a storyline where he and he and someone else, I can't remember if it's the Riddler or somebody, but they collapse all the bridges around Gotham and they completely isolate the city from the rest of the world.
What
And
happened
it's a
in
really good
Dark Knight
what?
Rises?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it's not how it was portrayed in that film wasn't like even like fully like how like I remember it from the comic strip that I read at one point. And I know
Yeah, I
that the
remember
Penguins are
seeing some
reported
people
to
say they
them.
want the Mad Hatter in these movies, which I don't know. He just seems too much like the Riddler to like
Yeah, I don't know.
justify that as like a main villain.
Pretty similar to. Yeah, I don't know.
And
Um,
again, I'm excited for more Penguin stuff. I'm excited for newer villains and like some older villains that we haven't seen in a while or haven't like seen got a good adaptation really whatsoever, like the Riddler. And I mean,
like Condiment.
Danny DeVito's like performance as Penguin is iconic, but that's like such a not what the Penguin is. And this is like the fifth Joker we had now in the last like less than 15 years. And while I'm excited and I expected there to be like another Joker in these movies, I just hope it's different enough. I'm a little burnt out on all these reintroductions to the character. Like I know they couldn't do Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I mean, he would fit in this universe, but it's just that character isn't really the Joker in like a Batman like arch enemy sense. And also that movie takes place in like the 70s. But I just hope
Yeah,
there is some details about this Joker the director talked about. I guess in this universe, in the 2 years before this movie, Batman's already met the Joker and he's already locked him up in Arkham. So there's already a dynamic there. And then I guess this Joker has a permanent birth defect where he just constantly is smiling. And I guess there was a deleted scene where Batman had a scene of Joker, and they just cut it out. So I don't know exactly what they're going to do in the next movie villain-wise. It seems like they have a lot of ideas, so I just hope they keep it focused. And I really thought like maybe a winter setting instead of a Halloween setting, and like have a Mr. Freeze type story for a sequel and have like a whole blue theme would contrast this movie well. But I don't know what the ideas they have.
yeah, I really like that idea. I think that sounds really good. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying about like the Joker and like how kind of feeling burnt out on it because not only has like in pretty much every possible like Batman storyline we've had, there's been a Joker because there was the Nicholson one later on, there was the Heath Ledger one, then we got the Suicide Squad Joker, and then he was also in freaking Zack. It was also in the Snyder Cut, and then we got Joker standalone film with Joaquin Phoenix. It's like we just see the Joker a lot, and like yes, he's a great villain. What probably the greatest comic book villain ever. Extremely important to the Batman storyline, but like, and I expected him to be in this like series of films, but like I didn't expect them to even like tease anything about it in this first one. I'm not like against them doing so, but it did feel kind of forced.
Well, they did the same thing in Begins, not nearly as much, but that tease worked much better. And also, we hadn't seen the Joker since like the 80s. But
Right.
Also his laugh, which I'm assuming will get like better laugh. I didn't like hate his laugh. It didn't work for me. And it almost felt like a TV show, like a DC TV show Joker laugh. It felt weird because there's also been multiple Jokers in the TV shows too. There's just been Joker just like everywhere. So I just hope this Joker's different.
Joker's marketable, but like I want to see like a natural integration of
And
the
it seems like
character.
they picked an actor that
really
like I think he's kind of well known, but he also isn't. So I'm hoping like he's really good, and like that's why they picked him and like are pushing him so much. And
yeah, I hope so.
It seems like he's going to be at least teaming up with the Riddler. I don't know exactly what their dynamic is in the comics, but that should be interesting. I feel like they would make an interesting team up against Batman psychologically. And of course, there's been a lot of comparisons between the Riddler and Joker. But while the Joker's more focused on anarchy, it seems like Riddler's much more focused on revenge and just like tearing down the world order. So maybe they'll go together well. Who knows? There was that great dynamic with the Riddler and Batman where like Batman had to realize that he pretty much created the Riddler and his ideology. Maybe not like directly, but like he definitely influenced it. And actually seeing the main character like really reflect on his actions and like refocusing his entire mission is It was really well handled, really well written. I like the scenes at the end when he's saving people from the flood, and the symbolism behind that, and how he's like in the light at the end. There's a lot of great details, and even at the funeral scene, there was like a random guy that was talking to him about Riddler, and then he was actually one of the Riddlers at the end. There's just a lot of nice little details.
Yeah, it's definitely jam-packed with details. Such a massive film. Obviously, there's a lot that they would try to fit into like every nook and cranny.
There was also a good detail I never noticed that somebody pointed out that could be like a really big future thing, and that like the mayor's kid that's like an orphan now could potentially become like a Robin in the future.
Right, yeah, and that's what I was thinking when I was watching it.
I don't know if they actually do that because he's like 5, but you never know, I guess. What'd you say?
What?
What'd you say?
Yeah, the kid, he was pretty young, but like, that would be interesting to see like how they would handle that.
Yeah.
But like, there are a lot of great little details, and I really appreciate stuff like that. I gotta say, the cinematography was really good. It was consistently, it was just
really
consistently good.
Yeah. They use this in the newer set. There's like sets that they do like in the newer Star Wars shows. It's like I don't remember what the technique's called, but it's like it's really good.
Yeah,
it's like make fake backgrounds and stuff.
Right, it was really visually diverse pretty much throughout the entire film, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a really nice movie to just look at, like all the rain and.
Yeah, presentation was fantastic.
And clearly, it takes a lot of inspiration from like it's compared to like Ben 7 and Zodiac and all that noir movies, which is what Batman is. I mean, he's world's greatest detective from DC Comics, which is Detective Comics. So it's really surprising that there hasn't been that much Detective Batman at all.
Yeah, it was nice to finally see it actually implemented into a film.
Which Matt Reeves did say. Yeah, when he was writing the script, he's like, I realize now why all these filmmakers have like neglected the detective part, because it's really hard to write a good script for a superhero movie that's like a detective movie that like is entertaining. So, but I think he did that and did a little extra, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he really did succeed. There's just so much to enjoy about like a lot of those parts of like the Batman character. When I was watching it, I'd like toward the end of the film, I was like, something felt like slightly off as like a Batman story, and I just couldn't figure out exactly what it was. There was just something that just didn't quite fit right with me, and I was like, I don't know, like this seems almost perfect, but there's just a little bit off, and like it does have a few like issues. Like I mean, like we said, there's a couple of like little weird pacing things. There's a couple of like line deliveries that are just a little bit off, even though most of like all the main performances I think are just right for what you want them to be.
I feel like honestly, a part I noticed about maybe halfway through is that it seemed like the Riddler took a backseat for like a sizable portion of this movie, and like I feel like if he maybe was a bit more involved and had a bit more focus throughout the whole film, maybe that would have raised it more. I don't know. There was that whole little subplot with like Catwoman and like the random Russian girl that was like she lived with, which was fine, but like it wasn't exactly the most engaging plot line or the most original plot line I've ever seen before.
Yeah, it was fun. It was kind of meh. It was redeemed by her getting a glass of milk and drinking it. That was really a nice
was
detail.
Talking about that and like how like they're thirsting for her because of that, which was really weird. And I don't know why everyone's focusing on that so much. But she's Catwoman, so she has to drink milk. Like I think it was in her contract.
Yeah, it was extremely weird. I heard that Zoe Kravitz practiced drinking milk like a cat for the role, and then like they didn't like actually have her do it in the movie.
Oh, I heard she said that, but she was joking. I don't know if she was actually serious. But she also said she like studied cats fighting for her role, and I was like, okay, you're being a little weird.
She likes the Catwoman character, bro.
And then I think Robert Pattinson joked. He's like, yeah, I looked up how bats fight and incorporated into my role. And then he was like joking. He's like, bats just like scream and then like fly around for an hour and then just run away. So
yep.
So he's like, no, I did not do that. I really like Robert Pattinson as an actor. I can tell in interviews he's having a lot of fun and he's enjoying the fact that he's not like hated anymore.
Yeah, I mean, this really is kind of a redeemable performance because
which I
it's
know he's been doing indie
like
stuff for a while. That's like also really good, but this is like his big, like some of the people are actually going to see like worldwide. So
right, and he really gave it his all, and I think he did. He really did a fantastic job. Uh, it really impressed me. Honestly, he did, but he did even better than I expected, and I actually had high hopes for him because um, I have seen a lot of potential in a lot of his performances, and I definitely really like that. Have you been seeing all the things about how Robert Pattinson, Andrew Garfield, and Charlie Cox all used to be roommates together when they started their careers, and now one of them is Batman, one of them was Spider-Man, and one of them is Daredevil.
yeah, that's funny. I saw like a thing about that. Robert Pattinson was like, I actually didn't live with them. They just would invite me last minute to every single hangout, and I was like, dude, you're literally Tommy. I didn't say that, but did Tommy like the movie though? I think he did. He told me he did.
Yeah, he said he liked it. He said he liked it better than he expected.
Yeah, he didn't. When I brought up all the future stuff, like the Joker, he didn't know that he thought this was a standalone movie like Joker, and I was like, no, this is like a whole new universe. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no.
Next movie's gonna be called A Batman, and the next movie's gonna be called. I wasn't a big
I
fan of
would.
the title because it's clearly just because they can't call it Batman, but it
I mean, I
works.
liked it.
It
I like
works.
just I like the little like the Batman. I just like the way it rolls off, kind of.
I don't know what a sequel would be called. If they did like a Mr. Freeze thing, they could. I think there was like I think the biggest storyline of Mr. Freeze is called like Heart of Ice or something like that.
Yeah, I assume they'll do like probably villain related titles since this one's called the Batman. I wouldn't expect them to do like the Bat and the Cat, like some people were saying that they would do one like that with like more emphasis. But like this one already had a lot of Catwoman and Batman dynamic in it, so I wouldn't expect that at
And
all.
honestly, I won't be surprised if Catwoman's not in it as much in the next one. They might do a thing where she's not in it as much compared to like the third movie or however movies they do.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's his main love interest. I don't know if he's going to introduce any other love interests of Batman that are like fairly popular, but yeah, I'd be interested to see if they change his suit in the next movie. I'm interested in what they'll do next. I'm very excited. I'm not, of course, creaming my jeans for it because it'll be a while, but
Right. Yeah. I mean, we can definitely just soak in this one for now because it's really impressive for what it is.
yeah, it's the same for me with Dune Part 2. I'm really excited for that, but that's going to be a few years down the road. So
Right, and like we can still just sit and enjoy what Dune Part One was, and like actually, I found a lot of similarities with these two because I'm really excited for what's next. But like with Dune and the Batman, I really love them both, and I think that they were exactly what I wanted them to be. So I can just sit and enjoy them for a while in anticipation for what comes next.
yeah, absolutely. This movie's also done really well at the box office.
Yeah, had a really handsome opening, which is more like hopeful for movie theater returns and all that stuff. So
Did you have that Did you have that Nicolas Cage movie trailer before the Batman?
yeah, the unbearable weight of massive talent.
It looks so weird.
It really does. I mean, I'm kind of interested. I'll watch it probably, but it's really weird. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a lot of good trailers that played in front of mine. It didn't sound like you had many of yours, but yeah.
Yeah, the Lost City. Morbius.
Yeah, they played Jurassic World and Doctor Strange and stuff like that, which that's the next movie, I think, big release wise.
Yeah, we did have the Doctor Strange trailer. That was nice, and then it had like the preview for obviously all the DC films. None of that it was just a bunch of generic movies.
Yeah, like right when I thought they were about to start a movie, they played that, and I was like, really, another fucking ad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's much more to talk about. We'll probably talk
I have
about
a
this
lot
movie.
more. I actually have a lot
do?
more.
Okay, what?
Well, because we haven't even touched on the score yet. I don't know if
Oh
you.
yeah, I really like the score. I don't remember all of it, but like the Batman score was like the theme was actually really good.
Yeah, it was incredible, and like a lot of like honestly, the entire score was actually incredible. There were so many little moments that were elevated by just like a lot of little like subtle music details in the background. I thought it was fantastic. I think it paired with the cinematography really well. A lot of those fundamental aspects were just so. I it was pretty perfectly done. The presentation was just so fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And the overall plot, just like in general, the way like it moved along, like it's very like Batman reliant. It's all about like his character. And I guess really the only main other thing I wanted to talk about was that the Batman character in this film because like seeing the growth and like you see the opening scene with him when it's like that fight scene and he says that he's like I'm vengeance and like his and then it shows him his use of violence to gain that vengeance and all that stuff like that and how he's a dark brooding vigilante but then, like as he goes throughout the film, he gets kind of broken down by the Riddler, um, because the Riddler is farther ahead of him than he expects, and like this whole horrible thing happens to Gotham, and he has to go and help. And then it really messes with his head when like the Riddler like says his name. That was a really good moment too when he was like Bruce Wayne. I actually really liked that moment a lot. It was kind of chilling. Um,
yeah, he
it was
really had a
just
lot
cool.
of great lines, and then like when they finally showed his face, it was like a stark contrast. He's just like a redditor. They had that whole scene where I guess he has like a small like Reddit clan that's like giving him tips and tricks, and he's like, "Thank you guys so much. We got to like 5,000 followers." I got some laughs in the theaters from that. It was kind of weird
Right.
because it's a weird interpretation of the character. Like it makes sense. It's modern. It's realistic.
Yeah, it was really weird. And also that scene when he went and found that when Pattinson went and found that and like that just like random cop was there. He's
He's
like,
like,
"You can't
"Stop
be here,"
that!
and
You
like it
can't do
just
that!" And he just lets him do it anyway.
yeah, and he just like looked at him and then he was like, "Okay," and then like they like had a small conversation or whatever, and it was like, well, who is this guy? Why is this guy? Why is this guy? So that was really weird. That's just like one of the few like nitpicky things I could bring up. But then like that one of my favorite moments, visually and just and metaphorically, and probably maybe even in the whole film, was when he goes down into the water in the stadium and he lights up that flare to go and help those people. And then not only did that look stunning, but also just as that was a big moment and like showing that growth and like that transfer over to,
Hold up.
like you said earlier, becoming a beacon of hope and actually becoming a true hero, an actual guiding light for Gotham instead of a violent vigilante. And then when he brought somebody over and then they were going to get airlifted, and then like they felt so comforted by him they didn't want to leave him. And then his little gesture of like putting their hand back to them, and then as they were lifted, that was a really great moment. And
That was a really great moment.
little
Small tangent though, just because I just got this random notification and it's like literally like the weirdest thing I've heard in a while. So you know that new
what?
Christopher Nolan movie, right? That has like the stacked cast.
Yeah.
I guess who just got cast?
Who?
Fucking Josh Peck.
Are you serious?
Josh Peck from Drake and Josh is gonna be in Oppenheimer.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. And so the top comment says, "At this point, when am I getting cast?"
Oppenheimer adds Drake and
Oh,
Josh to our
they have the door.
Oh
They
my
have the door
god.
meme. They have the door meme and it says, "Robert, where's the stabilized atom?"
What?
What the fuck?
I'm so excited for this movie. I cannot wait for Oppenheimer. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but yeah, that scene was really good.
But yeah, that was just a great moment, and it's little things like that that made me love the Batman character and like how it's portrayed here. I just think is absolutely fantastic. This is one of my favorite iterations just for stuff like that alone. Um, I absolutely adored that. I thought that was really well executed. It actually made a really good story, a really good narrative, which you do not always see in comic book films. And that paired with just the gritty realism of it, the incredible score, the great use of classic villains, all that stuff was just super enjoyable for me. It's easily become one of my favorite films of recent memory. I do think it has some objective issues, but overall, I really enjoy it. And Yeah, I'm so down to see it in the theater again, and hopefully Best Buy makes a steelbook or something. I'd love to get that, and just yeah, I love it. Overall, an 8 out of 10. It might be a 9. I'm going back and forth. I'd have to watch it one or two more times to really get a more grounded rating, but that's what I have to say about it as of now.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign after watching a 3-hour movie that um, you generally want to rewatch it again. So it's definitely 8-9
Yes.
range, maybe like 8.5. A lot of people are praising this as like an absolute like the best superhero movie ever made. I don't know if I would quite call it that. It's really good though.
No, but it's probably up there. I mean, like I said, I'd have to watch it again, but
Yeah, it's definitely up there. But like people are saying, it's better than Dark Knight, better than any Marvel movie ever made. Yeah, I think it's a little bit. You just saw it and you just have bias, but
yeah, like have you seen the Letterboxd rating right now
yeah,
for
it's
it?
like quite pretty close to the Dark Knight, which is understandable. That's fine. Um,
Yeah, extremely good.
but yeah, probably the best DC film that's going to come out this year because I've pretty much no faith in what's coming out.
Oh,
Black Adam. Black Adam might be
this
good. I don't know.
this not being like connected to like really the DCU really helps it because it's actually
Which is
good.
really sad because like I should want these movies to be connected. Like I'd love a fucking Superman and a Batman like team up again. That's like I'm genuinely excited for, but like I just probably won't get that ever again.
Yeah, no, it does suck. It does suck.
It's just DC's all over the place right now, and I guess they said recently they're focusing more on quality over quantity, which is understandable. Because for a while there, they were just greenlighting projects for some reason. Like they were gonna make like a Gotham City Sirens movie with like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, and that made like no sense, and nobody would watch that. But why are you
That's
greenlighting that?
stupid.
Like Man of Steel 2, no. Will
Please no.
Booster Gold though hype?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm glad the Batman's a bit on track. He was kind of off track there for a little bit, not because of Ben Affleck, as much just because of the situation with the whole DC universe. And it's always gonna be sad that Ben Affleck basically got his whole movie canceled, and then this movie happened. But this is probably the best outcome we could have got
Yeah, I'd
without
say
Ben
best
Affleck.
case scenario from all of that turmoil over the DCEU the past few years.
And I appreciate Ben Affleck for why he stepped down, saying that he knows that he wasn't in the right headspace to put like his 100% in this movie, and he shouldn't like make the movie when there's filmmakers out there who do want to put their 100% in, and this team definitely did. So, I respect everybody involved. This seemed to have a pretty good production, not much drama. So I'm glad the studio just let him make this movie. So I hope they do that with every other project in this little universe. Batverse, I think they're calling it. So we'll see. But I'm excited for what's next.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited, and this might end up being my personal favorite movie of the year, besides maybe Across the Spider-Verse. We'll have to see because like my brain won't let my expectations go like any lower for that movie. I'm just super excited. So if it ends up not matching that, it'll end up kind of being underwhelming, which is really unfortunate. I don't want that to be the case.
Wait, which movie?
Obviously, for Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that movie's probably going to be pretty good.
But like I do expect it to be good. We'll just have to see. But like as of now, this is definitely the best film of the year so far. I'm really excited I'm excited to watch it again and get it on home media and all that stuff. See like any extended cuts and all that.
Did you see
'Cause
the
I really
Steelbook
enjoy it.
design is already out?
What?
The Steelbook design is already out. I don't know if it's for pre-order yet. It looks pretty
No,
good.
I don't. I did. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I'm definitely gonna get a steelbook when available. So
If it's not sold out after like 1 second.
yeah, even though it probably will be.
Probably, yeah. Unless it's up for pre-order right now. It might be. I haven't checked it.
On Best Buy?
It might be. I'm gonna look. But yeah.
But yeah, really good movie. 8 out of 10, maybe a 9. We'll have to see. But for now, that's where it sits. That's my second favorite Batman movie, probably all time, and I think it's probably just gonna stay at that point. I don't think it's gonna go above The Dark Knight or below any others like Batman Begins or Batman 89 and all that stuff. So
Yeah. This is a very good movie, and I enjoy it quite a lot. Definitely recommend, even though I think pretty much everybody who's wanted to see it has already gone out and saw it. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I did have a random film to suggest for this week since it was technically my turn, but I think like it was fine. I think we're fine just discussing the Batman this week. We can we can do that.
Well,
We
we
can do that next
probably
week.
don't have time for it this week, but what was the movie?
That's exactly what I'm saying. It was gonna be Daredevil because I wanted to talk about a bad comic book movie in contrast to
Oh,
this good comic
I
movie.
mean, we can do that next podcast, but I'll have to watch it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? You talk about it like you have. That's why I would have
I
brought that
just
up.
make jokes about it because everybody says it's bad, but no, I've not seen it. I've seen parts of it.
Well, then I'm not gonna make you watch that. We can come up with something better.
We'll see. There's a really nice Batman set for the first four that have like all the same design, but that means you have to own like Batman and Robin, so
Yeah, I know. It's just annoying because it includes Batman and Robin.
and Batman Forever, which isn't like terrible, but still,
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
for sure. It's not up for pre-order yet, though. I did see the design. It looks good. But yeah, I don't think we're having a podcast next week, but we should have one the week after that.
Perfect.
I don't know exactly what we'll cover. I don't even know if anything's coming out.
Well, Morbius is gonna be out eventually.
Yeah, we'll cover that, I guess. They played the new trailer, which was still bad, but like I guess it wasn't as bad as the other trailer.
Still not excited.
I'm really not excited. Also, there's like more casting and like news about the Craven movie, and that just upsets me. I don't want a Craven movie. To be like if instead of these Batman movies of these villains, they'd just be like, oh yeah, we're getting a standalone Bane film that's completely disconnected from Batman. Okay, we're getting a standalone Joker movie without Batman. Then we're getting a standalone Catwoman movie without Batman, and we did that too.
Yeah, it has to be even more obscure though, because literally Kraven the Hunter is so obscure. It's just so random, and I don't understand like why.
And they're using all these good Spider-Man villains. Like I want Venom in Spider-Man, I want Kraven in Spider-Man, and they're having Chameleon in Spider-Man. And I would have really liked to see a version of Chameleon in the MCU, but I guess not.
Yeah, no, screw that, bro.
And instead, I get Morbius 2 coming out in 2026, and I can't wait.
That's so random. 2026 when Morbius 2.
If it happens, I'm going to clip this, and I'm officially God. So.
Or you just had a good prediction.
For real. Well, it's going to get delayed like 4 times, so.
At least, and like they're gonna like be from the.
I saw a tweet. I guess the Flash has now officially been delayed like 5 times.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I'm still not excited.
Morbius 2 is going to be delayed so much. The first trailer is going to be like from the studio that brought you Spider-Man No Way Home, and then eventually it's going to be like the actual follow-up to the Tom Holland films from the studio that brought you that one for when it finally comes out.
Yeah. Absolutely, my friends. Also, yep, Halloween Ends and small Halloween news. Halloween Ends is like wrapped filming as well.
I know, very exciting. Yeah. I kind of surreal. I mean, that's going to be coming out this October. That's going to be crazy. So,
all got stuff to look forward to. The Kenobi trailer wasn't super exciting, but I'm still very excited for that show at least. We'll definitely probably be covering that in May, since I'll be in town and we can watch it. But yeah. Not too much longer before I'll be back in my hometown for a few months, so that's pretty exciting as well.
Yeah, that'll be very exciting. There'll be a lot of great summer releases that we can actually see together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what all's coming out now. Seems like a lot of stuff's got delayed. Also, apparently Shazam 2 and Avatar 2 are now coming out on the same day. So it's a fight for the box office. Who's going to win Shazam or a movie about blue people from 20 years ago? We'll have to see.
I'm personally going to go see the Batman again. at that time.
In
So yeah,
December.
yep. The one they re-released it around Christmas.
Also, guess what? Like, came out about No Way Home that they deleted from the movie.
I might have heard about this. What was it?
I guess there was a whole deleted scene where Tobey Maguire fought Green Goblin.
Oh yeah, that's true. I did hear about that.
I'm like, what the actual fuck? Because I always thought that was weird. I was like, why didn't he interact with Green Goblin like once?
That is true. That is kind of a weird little thing. Like, why?
So I guess that makes sense. But
Yeah.
Whatever. Also, I was a little upset because I remember Willem Dafoe saying that like the only reason he came back is so he could do all of his own stunts. But then like when that information came out, it said, "Will tell me where I was seen with the Willem Dafoe stunt double." So I was like, did he just lie to me? Did you lie to me? You fucking piece of shit. Just kidding.
I gotta get to the bottom of this.
Kid named Bottom.
What? Why is someone gonna get to the me right now?
Actually. Kid named Gitz.
Just gonna say kid named actually. What?
But yeah, we're going for an hour now. Anything else you got to talk about?
No, not really. I pretty much put in my 2 cents. I think there's still probably a bit more to talk about, but overall, I think it was a good discussion. I love this movie. 8 out of 10. Might go up. Well, I don't see it going down because like
Absolutely.
a lot of it is
I've adopted this movie into my daily life. There's been memes about that too.
The director of Venom: Let There Be Carnage was in this film.
Honestly, Nirvana is kind of good. I kind of forgot until this movie that they weren't that bad.
Yeah, Nirvana's pretty good. Yeah, but yeah. Any closing thoughts, Matthew? No. Yes. No. No. Maybe.
If quizzes are called quizzicals, then tests.
All right. So if you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and let us know what you want us to cover in the future.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, have a good one, guys.
Yep, have a good night, day, evening, weekend, whatever.
It is almost midnight here, so talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.